What's going on, guys? My name is Patrick Bacon and you're watching the one and only Bacon's Drinks channel here on YouTube. Now I know I promised you guys some movie themed and movie inspired cocktails a couple of videos ago, and today is the day we finally get to it. Now today's cocktail is not representative of any one movie in particular, but is more meant to capture the movie-going experience as a whole, and I present to you guys the Cinema Highball. I'm a huge movie nerd and a huge cocktail nerd, obviously, and in all my years of doing both of these things, I've never heard of this cocktail until recently, probably about, I would say, 2 months ago. And let me tell you guys, it is absolutely magical. And what makes this drink so special and so unique is the rum. So it is a highball, it only has 2 ingredients, but the rum is a little bit of a pain to make. It's easy to make, that's the good news, but it does take a little while to infuse. So if you guys are making this cocktail for guests, I would recommend starting a full 2 days ahead of time. But what this is a delicious popcorn and butter infused rum, and it tastes absolutely amazing. I went ahead and put the recipe in the description for you guys, so if you want all the details, be sure to hit that up. Now, a quick note before we get to making the cocktail, I do want to talk about the rum selection just real quick. Don Lee, in the original recipe, did call for a Flor de Caña Extra Seco 4-year. I think I know why he did that, because this rum is very crisp, it's very clean, it's dry and fairly neutral in flavor profile, which makes it perfect for infusions. Try not to use like an aged rum that has, certain full body characteristics, and try not to use some rums with very heavy flavor profiles like a Jamaican rum or a rum agricole. Try to choose the most neutral rum that you can. Flor de Caña is perfect for that. If you don't have access to Flor de Caña, I would choose probably a light-bodied Puerto Rican rum like Don Q, Bacardi, something like that. Just whatever you can find that's as neutral as possible so you can really get the flavors of the infusion to show through. All right, guys, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into making the cocktail. So in the original recipe, Don Lee calls for this cocktail to be built over ice in a chilled Collins glass. So now that we have our chilled Collins glass, let's go ahead and fill it the rest of the way up with cubed ice. Now, you can use cubed ice, or you can use bullet ice or larger cut ice. You don't want to use crushed ice because we're going to be building the cocktail over the ice. So if you have crushed ice and you pour Coke and rum over that, it's going to melt all that crushed ice and make your cocktail very watery. So just remember that. All right, we're almost done with that. Should be the last. So let's go ahead and get into building the cocktail. I'm going to start with our rum first, but I will note that the original Don Lee recipe called for 2 ounces of rum, and my perfect balance is 1.25 ounces of the rum, but of course you guys can do what you want. But I'm going to pour 1.25 ounces of rum directly over the ice. All right. And then the original Don Lee recipe called for 4.5 ounces of Coca-Cola. I just like to fill the rest of the way up with the Coca-Cola, just top it off. And for your Coca-Cola, be sure to reach for the super high fructose corn syrup American version. Normally when I do make cocktails, I like to use the Mexican Coca-Cola because it's made with cane sugar. It's a little bit healthier, if any, and it's a little more craft. But today, since we're simulating going to the movies in a glass, they always use the high fructose corn syrup version. So be sure to use high fructose corn syrup Coke if you want to be accurate. And we're going to go ahead and just top this puppy off with this amazing Coca-Cola. Get a little more there, and that should be perfect. What I'm going to do, Toby Maloney would probably kill me because it messes up the bubbles a little bit, but I'm going to get this spoon and kind of just put it down there like that, just to kind of break that plane and make sure that rum comes up into the Coke, so I get both popcorn and butter infused rum and Coke first sip. All right, guys, so that is the Cinema Highball. Let's go ahead and give it a taste. Wow, I can actually smell the popcorn on the top there. That's really cool. Oh, man. Man, that is so good. Don Lee said it was meant to capture going to the movies in the glass, and I can tell you guys with 100% certainty that it does exactly that. This is so good. I taste everything. I taste the popcorn, I taste the butter, of course the Coca-Cola. So this cocktail actually evokes a lot of memories for me. One of my favorite memories as a kid was going to the movie theater, especially if it was a movie that I really wanted to see. And I believe the movies that I wanted to see most back then were Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, Spider-Man, the original Tobey Maguire, I believe that was 2004. And then the Lord of the Rings movies, of course. And there's a lot of other ones to name, but basically I love going to the movie, and when I did, I got a big old tub of popcorn. And back then, they may still do it in some theaters, but back then they had a separate station for that fake butter substance that was so delicious. And I would just go over there. They had it in like a pump, like a little machine, kind of like they do with ketchup at some places. And I would go there and give it like 4 or 5 pumps, which to me was the perfect amount of butter. And I, of course, would get a big old fresh Coke straight from the tap and all this high fructose corn syrup goodness. And I would go sit down in the movie theater, and as soon as that surround sound would come on, I knew I was in for an amazing movie. I would grab a big handful of that salty, buttery, delicious popcorn, put it in my mouth, take a hit of that Coke, let that Coke melt the popcorn in my mouth, and I just remember that being just an unbelievable experience. It still is, but of course when you're a kid, everything's just more grand and more amazing. And of course, as you guys know, theaters might not be a thing anymore. They might go by the wayside with streaming coming along now. But if movie theaters do fail, which I really hope they don't, one thing's for sure, we should always be able to make this cocktail to reminisce. We should always have popcorn, we should always have butter, we should always have Coca-Cola, and we should always have rum. So with that being said, I hope you guys really enjoyed this cocktail. Trust me, please go through the extra effort to make this rum. It's all worth it. And there you have it, guys, the Cinema Highball, the cinema experience in a glass. I hope you guys enjoy, and I hope when you take a sip of this cocktail, it evokes memories in you as well, and hopefully we'll make some new ones. With that being said, my name is Patrick Bacon. I hope you guys have a great weekend. As always, if you like the content, please hit the like button. If you want to see more of my content in the future, please hit the subscribe button. And if you really want to help me out, please leave a comment. I would enjoy any of you guys' feedback. If you have questions about the recipes or the video at all, I'm very active. I can answer. Thank you so much, guys, for watching the movie, and I hope you guys have a great weekend, and I will see you guys next time. That is just so amazing.
All right, let's go. Oh! You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
I don't want a piece of you. I want the whole thing. Oh!